pre-trip inspection. First thing that the tester is going to do is they're going to come to your door and they're going to ask you, they're going to tell you, I'm going to go up front. I want you to show me your headlights, high beams, left signal, right signal, and four-way flashers, and clearance lights. So, roll down the window. Turn the key to the on position. Turn the lights, headlights on. Okay. Headlights. High beams. Left signal. Right signal. Four-way flashers. And clearance lights. Now they're going to come to your door. They're going to tell you, I'm going to go to the back of the trailer and I want you to show me the flashers, signals, and brake lights and tail lights. So you tell them my tail lights are on. So my tail lights are on. Okay. Left signal. Right signal. Four-way flashers. Brake lights. Now they're going to come and get in the vehicle. Now we're going to shut the motor off, shut the lights off. Okay, they're going to say good morning, say good morning. Okay. First I'd like to start with my air supply checks. First, to do that I must do a safety start so I can build air pressure. So I'll make sure my brakes are set. Clutch in, transmission in neutral, start the motor. Okay, I'm going to give some acceleration so I can build air pressure quickly, so I can start my air leakage test. Sorry, seatbelt. First thing. Okay, I have enough air to start my air leakage test. So the first thing I will do is push in my clutch, my transmission into low gear, shut off my motor, release the clutch, turn the key to the on position, and push in both of my brake valves. I'm going to wait for my needles to stop moving. My needle stopped moving at 100 psi. Now I will push on my brake hard and wait for my needles to stop moving again. My needles stopped moving at 80 psi. Now I will hold my brake for 1 minute. I cannot lose more than 4 psi within that minute. Watching your clock, watching the gauge. Looking at your clock, watching the gauge. 1 minute has passed. I have lost no air pressure. My air leakage test is complete. Next test I will perform is my low air warning alarm. So I will pump the brakes until my low air warning alarm sounds. It must come on at 60 psi or above. My low air warning alarm came on at 70 psi. My low air warning test is complete. Next I'm going to test my protection valve pop outs. To do this I will pump the brakes until my valves pop out. They must pop out between 20 and 45 psi. Okay, my valve popped out at 25 psi. My protection valve test is complete. The next test I will perform is the air governor cutout. So to do that, I'm going to do a safety start, make sure my brakes are set, my clutch in, transmission into neutral, and start the motor. My ABS light came on and shut off. My ABS is working properly. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my gauges while my air is building from my air governor cutout. My air pressure is rising. It is almost at operating pressure. My oil pressure, the gauge has risen to normal pressure. The light has gone out. The voltmeter shows that the battery has enough volts between 12 and 14. And my temperature gauge is climbing and is at normal, climbing to normal operating pressure. My light has gone off. Now, while my air is building, to do my air governor cutout, which my governor must cut out between 100 and 125 psi, and I will wait for the needles to stop moving. While I'm waiting for the air to build, I'm going to do my in-cabin inspection. So first is my safety emergency equipment. My fire extinguisher is rated A, B, and C. The gauge is in the green position and it is secure in the cab. I have 5 extra fuses in the ashtray. I have 3 working, not broken, reflective triangles, and they are secure in the cab. Next, my seat belt is securely fastened. It locks and it unlocks and locks. It is not ripped or frayed. Okay, the assembly is securely mounted to the floor with no loose or broken parts. My windshield is clean, not cracked, not chipped, not damaged, has no illegal stickers on it, and nothing to obstruct my view. The mirror is clean, not cracked or broken. It is properly adjusted for me. It is secured to the mirror mounts and has nothing to obstruct my view. Next is my windshield wipers and washer fluid. Okay, my windshield wipers are working properly. They're fully secure. There's no damage to the blades. And the windshield washer fluid is working properly. And the blades have proper spring tension. I would get out and pull them away from the window. If they come back, we're good. If they fall, we're not good. Okay, next is my heater and defroster. It's working well. I have 2 horns next. It's my city horn and my highway horn. It is illegal to use in the city. I can demonstrate it if you'd like to. No? Okay, thank you. Next, I'm going to do my indicator lights. My left signal indicator dash light's working. Right signal's working. My flashers are working. My headlights, I-beam is working properly. Okay. Next, my air governor cut out at 125. My air governor test is complete. Now I've completed my air supply, my in-cabin inspections. Now I'd like to move to my brake control tests. First brake I'm going to check is the trailer brake. So to do that, I will push the clutch in, the transmission into low gear. I will release the tractor parking brakes and make sure that the red tractor brake is pulled, is locked. Then I'm going to release my clutch slowly until I feel my tractor pull against the trailer. My trailer should not move. Okay, my trailer did not move. My trailer brake is working properly. Next, I'm going to test my tractor brake. So I'm going to set the tractor brake, lock it, and I'm going to release the red trailer brake. I'm going to release the clutch slowly until I hear the sound of my motor change and my vehicle not to stop, not to move. Okay, my vehicle did not move. My tractor brake is working properly. Next, I'm going to perform my service brake. So I'm going to release both of my parking brakes. I'm going to release the clutch slowly until my vehicle begins to roll. Then I'm going to push on my clutch and brake at the same time. Okay, my vehicle stopped. My service brake is working properly. I have completed my air supply tests, my brake control tests, and my in-cabin inspection. Now, may we move to the outside.
Do you want me to pause it?
Good? Okay. First, we're going to start with the front of the tractor. We're going to look on the ground for any leaks. I see no leaks on the ground. No engine oil, no diesel, no coolant, no power steering fluid or transmission oil. Now I'm going to look at the underside of the engine and transmission. Make sure that there's no drips coming from the bottom of the engine or transmission. Okay, next I'm going to do my headlights. Turn signal lenses. Headlights and turn signal lenses are clean, not missing, not broken, and they're proper color. Okay? My clearance lights are clean, not broken or missing. They're fully secure, the proper color, red in the back and amber everywhere else. My reflectors are clean and are not missing or broken. Now I'm going to pull the hood open. I can. So we're going to come to this side. We're going to check the coolant level. It's between add and full. The cap is on tight. The oil level is between add and full. The cap is on tight. The power steering fluid is between add and full and the cap is on tight. The windshield washer fluid is above the refill mark. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. Okay, alternator. The alternator is fully secure, not missing nuts or bolts, has no exposed, broken, or burnt wires, and there's no loose electrical connections. The belt. Okay, the belt is not cracked or worn. It is not frayed, has no loose fibers. Tension must be between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch when pressed from the center of the belt. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side to the air compressor. Air compressor is not missing nuts or bolts. It is not leaking air or fluid, and it is fully secure. Now we have to go to the other side for the water pump. My water pump. Water pump is securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts or leaking. Now we have to go to the other side, the steering gearbox. My steering gearbox is not missing nuts or bolts. It is fully secure. It is not leaking power steering fluid. There are no cracks in the steering gearbox housing. The power steering hoses, okay? The hoses are not cut or cracked. There's no bulges or abrasive damage. They are not rubbing against any other parts. All engine hoses, the clamps are not leaking. The hoses are not cracked or cut. There's no bulging or showing signs of abrasive damage. They have no holes and they're not rubbing on any other parts. Now we're going to go to the steering linkage. Okay? All links, arms, and rods from the steering gearbox to the wheels are not cracked or worn. All joints and sockets are not excessively worn or loose. There are no missing nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. Now we're going to go to the suspension system. We're going to start with the leaf springs. The leaf springs are not missing any parts. They're not cracked or broken or shifted. Now we're going to go to the mounts and hangers. The mounts and the hanger. The hanger is back here.
Ooh, where's that?
The mounts and hangers are not missing, broken, cracked, not missing no missing or damaged or loose bushings. There is no shiny metal that may indicate a loose nut. They're fully secure with no broken axle parts. Next is the U-bolts and U-clamps. U-bolts, okay? U-bolts are not bent, cracked, or broken. They are not missing. There are no loose nuts or bolts. They are fully secure. Next is shock absorber. Shock absorber is securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, and is not leaking. Front brakes, hoses and lines. Now we're coming at the brake system. Okay, so the hoses and lines are not leaking, cracked or worn, not bulging or showing signs of abrasive damage. They have no holes in them. They're not rubbing on any other parts. Hose couplings and fittings are securely connected and not leaking. Next is brake chamber. The brake chamber is not leaking. There's no cracks. There's no dents. It's securely mounted. Has no loose or missing nuts or bolts or clamps. Brake chamber bracket. Okay, the bracket is not bent, broken, and is secured. Slack adjuster. The slack adjuster is not broken, not loose, or missing any parts, and the slack adjuster push rod stroke meets manufacturer's specs. Brake lining, which is the brake pad or brake shoe. The lining must be at least 1/4 of an inch thick, has no cracks, is not cracked or broken, is free of grease and oil, and has no loose or missing parts. The brake drum. The drum is not cracked or grooved, has no holes or dents. It is free of grease and oil and has no loose or missing parts. Now we're going to go to the tires. We're going to go to the tire sidewall. The sidewall has no abrasion, bumps, or cuts. There's no sign of tread separation. The tread depth on the front tires must be at least 4/32 of an inch in all major grooves with even tread wear. Air pressure is 100 psi. I check at the valve stem with an air gauge or thump it with a hammer. The valve stem itself is not leaking, damaged, broken, or missing. The rims, the bead flange on the outside and inside, the bead flange is not dented or damaged. The rim body is not cracked and has no illegal welding repairs. There are no cracks radiating from the lug bolt holes, and there is no distortion of the lug bolt holes. Lug nuts, not loose or missing nuts, has no rust trails or shiny metal that may indicate a loose lug nut. Axle hub and seal, it is not cracked, not leaking, not missing nuts or bolts. The oil level is full. If the wheel has a sight glass or removable seal, check the oil and grease is at proper level. Next, door. The door is properly mounted. It is secure when you close it, and all hinges and seals are intact. Seals, hinges. Next is the mirror mount. The mirror mount itself is not damaged. It's securely mounted. It is not missing nuts or bolts, parts, or fittings. The mirror itself, the mirror is clean. It is not cracked or broken. It is properly adjusted and not loose. Alright? Now we're going to go to the service steps. Wait a minute. Let's go to the fuel tank. The fuel tank is fully secure. It is not missing nuts or bolts or mounting parts. It is not leaking. The cap is on tight. There is no damage to the fuel lines. They're not leaking. They're not rubbing on any other parts. Now we can go to the service area steps. The service area steps are fully secure, not missing nuts or bolts, and they're free of grease and oil. Okay? Next is the handles. The handles are fully secure, not missing nuts or bolts. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the air lines and electric lines. Okay? The air lines not cut or spliced, not leaking. There's no cracked or chafed or broken wires. They're not excessively worn or showing steel braids. There's no tape. They're not pinched. They're not rubbing on any other tractor parts. They're secure on both ends. And always in the hanging position. Next is the deck plate catwalk. Okay? This is not missing nuts or bolts. It's fully secure. It is free of grease and oil and clear of any loose or foreign objects. Okay? Now we're going to do the frame and cross members. So the frame and cross members. The frame is not cracked or bent. Has no missing bolts. All cross members are fully secure and not cracked. Now, get the camera in here. Drive shaft. Okay, that's good. The drive shaft is not bent or cracked. It's securely mounted with no loose nuts or bolts or shaft couplings. The couplings are free of foreign objects. Okay? And I'll check the U-joints, make sure that they're fully secure. Next is the fifth wheel. Okay? The fifth wheel and the trailer. I see no daylight. They're fully touching. The release arm is always in the locked position and the safety latch in position. Mounting bolts. Okay? They're not cracked, broken, not missing, not loose. They're fully secure. Kingpin locking jaws. Okay? Is it recording? Mm-hmm. So the kingpin locking jaws. Get under the truck and take a look at the locking jaws and make sure that they're fully locked around the shank of the kingpin. The kingpin is not bent.